2024 working meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Education will now come to order. Welcome and Happy New Year to everyone. Our quote of the evening: life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And that's by Martin Luther King Jr. Is there a motion to set the agenda?
I make a motion.
Okay, Marvin and Gloria. Vote, Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin, Christine.
Yes.
And yes for me. Okay, our Hustonville presentation is by our principal, David Ledford. Thank you, David, for hosting us.
Absolutely, thank you all for being here. Just got a few slides I want to go through. I want to thank my leadership team for helping us out. We decided to come into a classroom. We were in the cafeteria last time, it was a little bit too crowded, so hopefully there's room in here. All right, so just a few quick slides. I think Ms. Colleen's going to flip through some of those for us. So iReady, we've taken 2 of those tests so far this year. We took our fall and our winter for 2023. And the next slide gives us some of those reading results. Kind of the overall look of this. This is a growth slide that iReady gives to us each year, or each time we take the test. So the annual typical growth down here in the bottom left, we want that number to be to 100% by the end of the school year. So we're at 74% right now, which is pretty good progress being halfway through. Of course, we want that number to be as high as possible, but 74% is kind of in line where we thought it would be and where we'd like it to be. Over on the right-hand side, it's a little bit hard to see, but that top bar is the current placement distribution. So basically tells us where all of our students are. Obviously, we want more toward the green, being on or above grade level. So some of those numbers in the winter benchmark, students on or above grade level, the green section there is 50%, and that's up from 20% in the fall. So anytime you take a couple of these, it's really good to look at that growth. So from 20% on or above grade level up to 50% is where they are. And then the opposite end of that spectrum, the red, is where we want to avoid. We're at 11% at 2 or more grade levels below, and that's down from 20% on the fall. So showing some pretty good growth in reading overall. This was kind of where we expected to be, and we don't have a bunch of red flags going off with this data. Next slide is going to be similar except for math. Numbers are fairly similar, slightly lower than what they were in reading. So 59% for our typical growth. We want that number creeping up toward 100, so some work to do there with the growth in math. And then our green number there is 45%. So currently 45% of our students on or above grade level, and that's up from 15% in the fall. So pretty good growth there from 15 to 45. And then the red, 2 or more grade levels behind, that number is only 7%, which is a really good number for us in math, and that's down from 16% in the fall. So overall showing some really good growth. We got a building full of excellent teachers that are working hard, great students working hard, so all that kind of adds up to lots of iReady growth. So we're excited about all that. The other data we wanted to look at real quick was our KSA data from 23. Back in the fall, we did a lot of breaking this down, and we had some celebrations here at school. We did remain a high school in green, so the next slide has got some of those statistics on it. The bottom line there is going to be our 22 data, and the far right on the bottom line there is our 72.9, which is our overall index from last year. We did take a little bit of a dip down to 71.1. Which obviously is never, what you want to do, but with the new way that the test was scored, the change score had a pretty big impact on us. If you look at the separate academic indicators with science, social studies, and writing, that was the one category that we dropped down to yellow on. We didn't get a high rating on that. We dropped down to medium. We would have been at high if we'd stayed at the 68.2. But the change score of 3.5. So in 2022, our writing scores fell in the very high category, which was great in 2022, but being able to maintain that is always tough. So when we fell a little bit in that writing score, that caused us to have a little bit of that change score that was a negative. So when they calculate that, you kind of have to pay for it twice, because you go down and then whatever that decrease was, you decrease it again to get your indicator. So still at 71.1, which was high. Obviously, we want to be, in the blue at very high category, but we'll take the 71.1. And like I said earlier, a building full of outstanding teachers working really hard, great students, and, an overall great place to work and a great place to be. So that's the data that I have. Does anybody have any questions or comments about any of that?
Congratulations on your score.
Yeah, very good. We're excited, and we had a little celebration here. I think we ended up with a green day because we were in green, so everybody wore green. We had balloons and cake and everything like that. The next slide before we get into that YouTube, this is going to be a Paw Pal production. So the students that hopefully escorted you guys to the classroom side are our Paw Pals.
And we want to thank them for that.
Yes.
So
They do that
much.
pretty regular. They're excited to help out. These are some of our 4th and 5th grade Paw Pals. And Ms. Sublett kind of organizes that. One of the things that we knew a couple of years ago that we wanted to do better of was kind of the student leadership aspect for our school. And so Sarah kind of spearheaded the Paw Pals idea. They do things like welcome new students. Anytime we have a new student, they welcome them. We have a little pack that they get, show them to their classes, and kind of make them feel welcome. Veterans Day, they escort the veterans kind of like they did for you guys. So any type of a leadership role. In the mornings, I guess they help out with breakfast, help the younger students, kindergartners, 1st graders get through, open up milk cartons. They're sweeping the floors at breakfast time. So a really good group of students that help out a lot for that. So we have Kanan Ruckel, right? Macy Nude, Madison Simpson, and Lincoln Lynn helping out that tonight. So we also do a monthly broadcast, so that's how I want to end the presentation. Ms. Sublett put together a little highlight of the last couple Tiger TV episodes that they've done. It's kind of like a newscast for the school. So this is a link to that, so we'll finish up showing that video. I hope the volume's okay.
Hello, my name is Mia Miller.
And my name is Kanan Ruckel.
Hi, I'm Macy Neal.
And I'm Ledger Simpson.
We are here to bring you the Tiger TV news.
So you can be on this side and be in the red, which we don't want that. You get to blue, which is considered very high. So we were in the green, we were high.
Officer Jeff Peak, originally from Pulaski County, now lives in Danville, Kentucky with his wife. He has 5 children and lots of grandchildren. He is a graduate from Eastern Kentucky University and recently retired from the Danville Police Department as police chief. He has also been an instructor at the Police Academy in Richmond, graduated from the FBI National Academy, and has worked in the K-9 unit. You could say Officer Peak has a heart for kids. He came out of retirement to protect our school and keep us safe. In his spare time, he coaches the Little League basketball and baseball through Boyle County. Thank you, Officer Peak, for keeping us safe, loving our students, and being an all-around wonderful mentor for our school. This has been Malia Berry.
Raymond would like to know if you could protect us as a principal. Can I protect you? Haven't you ever heard of Powerline Gun? Oh yeah! Rick wants to know why the boys can't have a mirror in the secondary bathroom. Now listen to me. If you looked as good as me, you wouldn't need a mirror. So just try to look as good as me. Next question.
Speaking of awesome, did you you go to our fall festival?
I did, and it was a blast. I think I must have won 1,000,000 prizes.
That's funny because I think I ate 1,000,000 hot dogs.
Yeah, and I think Miss Summit took 1,000,000 pictures. Check them out in her next story. Today I'm here with our very own Mr. Ledford. And so much for I keep getting the word with meeting our new
For being here with us.
And me bring here to bring the entirety of you.
Wait, I didn't push start yet.
Bring the entirety of you.
Can we just do it now, Mother Simpson? We have had a wonderful
What are you doing?
I'm giving you the side off. Kind of turn her head so she kind of knows that you're looking at her weird. There you go, just like that. But we have to start over, sorry.
Don't forget about Turkey Day. Meal, stew.
That's okay.
December 1st.
Don't forget. Oh.
That's okay. That's okay.
Your daughter dance will be December 2nd.
All right, so I don't think they're gonna stick around, but thank you guys. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, we'll move on down to 4 board elections appointments. 4A, elected 2024-2025 board chair for a 2-year term per board policy 0141.
I'll make a motion to elect Etta Meek as the board chair for a 2-year term.
I second that.
So we will vote on that to approve Etta Meek as board chair for a 2-year term. Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and yes for me. Okay, 4B, elect the 2024-2025 vice chair for 2 years. And that's board policy 01.41.
Make a motion, we stay with Christine. I think both of them done a real good job.
I second.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, Marvin and Jen. Okay, we'll take a vote. Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and I vote yes also. Okay, 4C, appoint the 2024 board attorney for a 1-year term, board policy 01.7. So is there a motion to appoint Grant Chenoweth as board attorney for a term of 1 year at an hourly rate of $150?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'll second.
Okay, Marvin, Christine, vote. Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and yes for me. Okay, 4D, we're going to appoint a 2024 board treasury for 1-year term per board policy 01.413. So is there a motion to appoint Leanne Smith as board treasurer for a 1-year term at an annual salary of $2,000? Okay, Marvin voted, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Jen. Okay, vote Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and I vote yes also. Okay, 4E, appoint the 2024 board secretary for 1 year per board policy 01.412. So is there a motion to appoint Colleen Benson as board secretary for 1 year at an annual salary of $4,000?
Make a motion.
Okay, Christine,
Second.
Marvin, vote Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and I vote yes also. Okay, we'll go to 4F, schedule the 2024 board meetings, dates, times, location, and that is per board policy 01.42. Now, there's two options that Colleen has presented. One is the original option. Colleen, did you want to talk about it?
Yeah, if you don't care, going
Okay.
into.
We have two options, the original option, like what we done last year, and then the other option, you're just calling the third Thursday option.
Right, so, if you look on the first one, the original, where we do the first and second Thursday, 6 months out of the year, that first Thursday doesn't work, and we have to schedule it for the second Thursday. Also, it makes, when we schedule it for that second Thursday, that turnaround time for that working board meeting that starts the first is a really short turnaround. So, I did up a second one, and that's where we have our working meeting on the second Thursday and our regular meetings on the third. We only have one conflict with this, and that's KSBA in July, and we have a conflict with that regardless of which calendar we do. It would save a lot of conflict and lengthen the turnaround time on board agenda items.
Any discussion? The original meeting went well last year. I don't think we had to have a special call meeting for any of those, because they were planned well. I do know a couple of us board members have issues with the third Thursday, because we already have plans. So, just your thinking on this.
I would really prefer to stay with the way, I know it would make more sense to go with the second and third Thursdays. But for this next year, I would prefer to go ahead and stay, I know we've talked about it before, to go ahead and stay because in looking at it, we've got, I have some commitments that are coming up. And I would like, for Mr. Smith to get some input from the people that usually have to present, like our directors in the central office and the principals, to get some input from them to see what their feeling is on this as well. I know it's a real inconvenience for Colleen because she has to make sure those are scheduled correctly. But I would like for us to know and plan ahead that by the next school year that we do look at that seriously, and if we know up ahead of time not to schedule things. I know there's some issues with surgeries that are scheduled and things like that are going to be very difficult. And I found out some of those things after we've talked about this before. So I would really recommend that we stay with the current, with the first and second, except for those that we have to change due to things we already know we've got going on. So that would be my thought on it.
And I also would like to have, the input of the directors and the principals and see what they think about it.
We can get that. We'll also make note that all of these will be moving back to the central office. Notice that.
Yes.
The schools will be doing their presentations there.
I think it's been at times a real imposition on principals to spend a day in the schools and that kind of thing, and then have us to invade and have to set up for that. And it really makes it inconvenient, I think, for Keith to make sure that everything's set up when we could do this at the central office. And really, we haven't noted a whole lot of additional people, participating from that particular school area. So I really recommend that we go back to our central office setting.
And we did get some feedback. We kind of surveyed the principals, and we felt like that it's best to probably just move them all back there for everyone.
Okay, any other comments, discussion?
I just want to say thank you for this May the 1st, Thursday is Awards Day at Lincoln County High School, and scheduling us for that. I'd really like to attend the award ceremonies.
What time is that usually, Gloria? You remember?
It's at 6.
What time is it?
Six.
6. Okay. That's kind of what we were thinking on that. Anything else? Okay, is there a motion to set the 2024 board meetings, dates, times, and locations, and going with the original option?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Gloria,
I second.
okay, second. Vote Gloria,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
and I vote yes also. Okay, we'll move down to our discussion items, 5A. Colleen, I think, has distributed, a yearly document that we need, your duty under the law and managing public records. Has everyone received those? Or is there anyone who has not received them? Okay, all has received those. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, 5B, 2025 draft budget, Leanne Smith.
All right, so I've got the draft budget, it has to be completed by January 31st, but where we meet early in the month, I do have to have it prepared earlier so you guys can approve it. I'll just go over the talking points for the budget. Of course, we are early, this is the first step in our budget for next school year, but it kind of gives you an idea of what I'm thinking, and maybe I can get some input from you guys as well. I'll just read through the talking points for you. Like I said, the draft budget has to be done, has to be presented by January 31st. It doesn't include Fund 2 or any grant money at this point in time. It's just too early in the year to know what next year's gonna look like. Then the next step will be the tentative budget, which is due by May the 30th, and the working budget, which is due by September the 30th. The total draft budget is $45 million. It's considerably higher than it's been for the past couple of years because we're moving a lot of expenses that we paid for out of Fund 2 with our ESSER money back to Fund 1. SEEK is our largest source of income within the general fund, and I have this estimated at around $15 million. We're still looking lower than we've been in the past couple of years, but there is still a clawback provision for next school year that will increase a little bit. I don't know beyond next year if that incentive will be in place, but that does help us with our SEEK funding. Our contingency, I have budgeted at $5.9 million, that's 18%. We have to be at 2%, so obviously we're well above that. I did include a raise for classified and certified staff. Jeannie Cooper is currently working on the analysis like we did last year, so she's looking at area school districts to plug in what their salaries were for this year. And we're gonna try to do what we did last year and maintain pace or exceed the pace of the districts around us. I did, like I said, build in a raise to make sure that it's feasible to do that, but I asked her if she didn't care to gather that information again, and I'll begin looking at that with her to see what we think might be reasonable and feasible for us to do next year. It's really time consuming to look at every category, every, salary, and I really appreciate her doing that, putting the time into putting that together. So I'll expect that in the next couple of weeks from her, and then we'll start looking. Just to give you an idea, a 2% across the board raise would cost the general fund $400,000 additional dollars. So last year we did quite a bit more than that. We did a minimum of 2% for certified staff, and then $1 per hour for classified staff, and then we went above and beyond that in areas that were farther behind. So we'll just have to look to see what that's gonna look like, but I do anticipate a raise, but just being able to say exactly how much, I'm not really sure at this time. The CDRS rate, that's the retirement that classified staff pays into. The rate that we have to pay in is going from 23.34% to 20.52%. That's gonna help us save about $100,000 in the coming year. Salary and benefits make up 72% of our general fund. That's a low percentage. That's well within a reasonable amount, so that is good. That is mainly because of our contingency being so large, and so our salaries just make up a smaller proportionate amount of our general fund. I do just want to go ahead and get it out that I don't think we will be paying for school supplies district-wide this next school year. I think we've done it for 3 years in a row, used our ESSER money in order to fund that, and I think it was a great thing. But I don't think that it's something that our budget can sustain going forward. So I just wanted to let principals and you guys kind of know that that's probably the route that we'll be taking this year. I also highly recommend that we remain conservative about adding new positions, adding new programming or curriculum unless it's something necessary that we have to do. So I'm urging the board and also principals to please evaluate closely anything that you want to add and make sure that it's something that's gonna be true added value for our students. The cost for our school health care may be reduced going forward, which is good news that we've received. We actually haven't paid any money out this school year so far. I believe that they have communicated with Tracy that they're looking at funding that may reduce our cost to zero, which would be great. We are looking at about $160,000 probably in a school year that we pay. So that would be a big savings for us this year, but going forward, if we could maintain that, that would be fabulous. I went ahead and built in as if we have to pay for that going forward, but that would be a savings for us. And if you look at my next point, it would help to offset our SRO cost, which is obviously much increased than it's been. I have us budgeted at $300,000 for next year for SROs. And last thing is the loss of ESSER money will mean that the general fund is gonna begin paying for a lot of things it hasn't paid for in several years. I just listed some of the things down there. Pretty much any technology, we've paid for a lot of personnel and programs, curriculum, trainings, iReady, Infinite Campus, ACT testing, AP testing, that's all come out of ESSER money for years. And so the general fund is going to now absorb all that back in, and that's why I encourage us to be smart. We're in a good spot right now. As our auditor said, we're in good financial standing, but we don't want to squander this money that we have on things that aren't gonna, like I said, give us a good output for the district to show value that we can turn around. I have included a general fund budget breakdown that just shows what makes up our revenues and what makes up the expenses. I won't read through that line by line, you're welcome to. Those are very broad categories, so if you'd like to know more about what goes into each category, just feel free to reach out to me on that.
Leanne, what did we spend on school supplies? Just a ballpark.
Last year it was probably around $80,000. So when you first start thinking about it, you think, oh, well, we could surely buy some scissors and pencils and whatnot, it won't be that bad, but, that's a sizable number, and when you look at, what a raise might cost or what our SRO cost is, I think it was awesome that we did that, but it was kind of a supplemental and extra that I don't see, we would have to cut somewhere in order for me to feel comfortable for us to put that in our budget. That was a good question.
And that's completely from our funds, no donations or anything.
How it's been in the past, since our ESSER money is, we pay for it in full. Now, there may have been some churches or community organizations that supplemented schools that I'm not aware of, but the past 3 years, the district used our ESSER money to pay for the school supplies outright. We could work with some companies, you're still looking at pretty sizable amounts, but if there are groups out there that would like to work with us on that, that would be fabulous. It's not really something that I want to take out, but it is, like I said, an extra thing, which I'm a parent, I appreciated it, having 3 students in school. It's just hard for me to, when I look at the numbers and see what the general fund's facing going forward, it's one of the things I can't justify as much.
Yeah. Any other questions for Leanne? Okay, thank you. And then we'll go on down to 5C, photographer for the high school and the middle school.
Yeah, if you remember last year, we split up the group that we worked with. We picked an elementary photographer and then we picked Life Touch to work with middle and high school. And we usually don't approve the contract for the next school year this early. However, Life Touch has indicated they would like to begin scheduling for senior portraits this coming summer. And they just said that earlier that we can get the contract in place, they can get their calendar in place and start scheduling that. I think that makes sense and will probably work out well for our seniors and their families. And our high school is very big on Life Touch. Middle school said they're great with Life Touch, so I figure if we're gonna approve it in a month or two, why not just go ahead and do it now if it'll make things easier.
Any questions about that? go on.
Got one more.
5D, Tyler Technologies contract.
Yes. I'll just read through my rationale here. Munis is the required accounting program all public school districts in Kentucky use. There are lots of features in Munis that we don't currently use. And in attending conferences and trainings, I've learned of other things you can add on to it that we've never taken advantage of. One module that you can add on is called cash management. It would save me a lot of time with reconciliations and financials if we were to add that on. It would definitely be beneficial for myself to process reports. And the other one is called Enterprise Forms. It improves our functionality in many areas by providing a forms library for our purchase orders, our checks, and other documents. We can customize those things. Also, once we get this in place, up and running, and we're satisfied with it, we can cut expenses that we already have in place with another vendor. So I think a lot of this cost will be offset once we do that. The contract is with Tyler Technologies. The annual cost for the cash management module will be $1,300. The annual cost for the enterprise forms is $3,700. There's an implementation cost, but that's on an hourly basis, so if they add it and we don't need any training or help with that, it will be $0, or it can go up to as much as $6,300. I found in the past that the amount of time that they quote that they might need to help you with implementation is a lot greater than what you actually need, so I don't anticipate we would hit near that $6,000. That's just a one-time cost. I've been pretty conservative since I've started with bulking up our accounting software or changing some of the things that we're doing. And I think this is a good conservative first step into doing things that I see other successful districts doing, that I think would be good for us as well.
Okay. Sounds good. Any questions? Okay, thanks, Leanne.
Welcome.
Okay, 5E, JAG course at Lincoln County High School, Chad Davis.
Hello, so this is kind of preliminary, it'll be for the 24-25 school year. But we want to get the process started early because they accept a limited number of districts for this program. And JAG stands for Jobs for America's Graduates. It's a 1-credit elective course for our high school students. And the target population are students who have a lot of barriers, whether in school or out of school, that kind of hinder their success. And I think you have most of the information in your board packet. But I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. I've met with the director a couple of times, and I think this would be a really good course. It really provides our students with skills that will benefit them post-graduation, but also skills that they can use during their high school career. Teamwork, leadership, public speaking, things like that really prepare them for the world. So, like I said, I'll answer any questions you all may have, but really we're getting the process started early in order to secure a spot in the program, and because our high school will begin scheduling for next year coming up pretty soon.
This is for middle school also?
It can be for middle school. They recommend we start with the high school, and then if the program is successful at the high school level, we can work our way on down, which I think is great. Because students who are in this program, the goal is to follow them from their freshman year through their senior year and make sure that they stay on track. Alternative school students can participate as well. And then after graduation, the person that teaches the JAG course stays in contact for a year and offers any assistance with employment or post-secondary education or things like that that they may need.
Now, Chad, has any of our surrounding districts used this program? If so, what do they think about it?
Well, Garrett County uses it, and Diana knows a little bit about that. I can't remember the exact number, but there are quite a few districts in the state that use the program. And I think there was a presentation that they sent me that I think is attached. Their graduation rate in 2002 for students in the program was 100%. And if you look at employability, it's a high percentage too for students who go straight into the workforce after graduation. So it counts as a credit toward a diploma or a career pathway.
How long has Garrett had it? Do you know?
It's been quite some time, and it's been very successful, and they have added it to the middle school as well now.
Oh, okay.
Will County has it. It's on this list that Boyle County has.
What is the cost, and what are we talking about, kind of expenses and?
Well, when we get to 5F, well,
Oh,
there is a,
okay, okay.
there is
I added
a
the-
position, I can jump ahead. The cost will be minimal, but I can go into that in just a second. They can take up to 65 students in the course, and like I said, it's scheduled like a normal high school course would be, where there are multiple sections. They recommend we start with a lower number, around 30 to 40 the first year, so that we can get the program running, and then add students as we get things all lined out, and kind of get it out there to students because they know about the program and what it is. Any other questions? All right.
Okay, Chad, you wanna go on then with,
I will jump
the
on the
next one, 5F? And
Um,
this is the specialist position.
Yeah, so the next item is the Kentucky Specialist position, and it is a teaching position. It follows our certified salary schedule. And so there are two options. If we hire a certified teacher, then they would receive normal teacher pay, and the district is reimbursed $40,000 for the cost of that. If we hire a person who is not certified as a teacher, then, of course, they're still following the salary scale, and we receive a $35,000 reimbursement for that salary. So I think the cost is minimal, and I believe there are a lot of benefits offering this to our kids.
I think it's something that's very much needed for our students.
Yeah.
There's lots of them that don't have a clue when they, even if they graduate, they sometimes don't have a clue about job skills and those kinds of things.
Right, and this gives them a person to follow up with after graduation that can help them with resumes or interview skills, connect them with employers, so that they're not just on their own.
Sounds good, yeah.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Okay, we'll go down to 5G, surplus items at Kings Mountain, Gloria Sneed.
The Broughton Town Community Center board contacted me, and there was some things at the Kings Mountain School that they would like to have for the community center. And I think Darren or Kathy or somebody went down there and got the tag numbers on them, and they wanted the range, which we bought in 2002, and the serving line, which was bought by the school district in 1980, and a refrigerator was 1998, another refrigerator was 1983, and the 3-compartment sink, and the book, and the blessing boxes on the outside. If you look at your attachments, I took a few pictures, but I won't go in that building by myself. And the last time I went there, Matthew went with me, and he said, "Granny, I hear somebody moving over on the stage." And so we left the building pretty quick. But if you'll look at your attachments, you can see the pictures of some of the stuff that they would like to have. And Mr. Smith had asked me about, did they say they just want the books? They want to put the books in a book box on the outside. They didn't say anything to me about the bookshelves, but I'll bring it back if they want the bookshelves in that picture. But my thought process is we're gonna have to pay somebody to either take this to the scrapyard or to the dump one if we don't let them have it.
Thank you, Gloria, for taking care of that, and hopefully it is usable and they can use it. It would be a blessing. Okay, any other questions? Okay, 5H, Darren Yaden, accept bid for truck.
We got a few bids for the Chevy truck, and the highest bid was $800, so I'll be recommending to accept that. The other truck, we really didn't get any fair bids, so we'd be better off taking that to the junkyard, so we can get that done. But I think it's a fair price for the Chevy truck.
What about the appraisal on the Somerset property? Where are
I
we?
actually got an email from him yesterday, and well, he was supposed to contact me today, but I didn't hear from him today, so, but I did, so we're working on it. We're working on it.
Because I'd really like to see us do something with that property.
Sure.
Because every day it looks worse, it seems like, and it's just.
The building's in good shape, it just, needs some updating, but building's still dry, and, you know, we've got heat on.
Hopefully someone could use it, put it to good use and that kind of thing. And what about, I mean, I'm bringing up stuff. What about?
She's had time to think about this.
What about our, the Stanford School sign? Where are we getting that moved? And
Well, now, a couple of guys that I talked to don't really want to move that sign. They're afraid they'll tear it up when they do.
oh, couldn't a mason, somebody
It'd
mason,
be more about rebuilding it, I think, instead of moving it, if that
and
makes
still
sense.
moving? They think it would destroy it.
They're just nervous to move it, 'cause they,
Yeah.
yeah, and, you know, it's been there for a while, and it's basically a gravestone's what it is, I mean,
Well,
I mean, that's what it is. But, you know, it's a big piece of granite, and of course, it's gonna take some heavy equipment to move it. I think they were a little bit nervous about moving it.
But, and then the Kings Mountain building too, I think, you know, I'd like for us to be in a process of thinking about what we need to do
Well,
about technology.
you know, I can revisit because, I don't know how many long it's been, but 3 or 4 years ago, we did look at the cost of demo, and that was right in the middle of COVID when everything was just crazy high. And even the architect said, you know, this is too expensive. So they still have all that information, what they need to kind of get some cost opinions, so if you want me to do that, I
Yeah, I
can,
mean, I would.
I can do that. I mean, I
I
don't
can't
think it
speak
requires
for
a
the
board
rest.
order or anything, you know, I can just revisit, that was with, Sherman Carter is actually a bunch of architects that did that, and they just got us a cost opinion, which was, it was just crazy.
It's almost $1 million, best I can
It's
remember.
about $1 million, yeah.
Well,
And that was just a cost opinion, we didn't take the bids, but that's,
and I'm bringing these up because, you know,
sure,
we.
that's what work means for.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the other thing is, all of our schools have a double entry, right? And
Yes.
and they're protected. The only place that's not is the central office. And that, to me, is something that needs to be addressed as far as getting that double entry in there. And also, the smell that is in there, in the mail room.
Yeah, we got some issues with the drain in there, I'm not.
I was
really
gonna
sure what's
say, it
going
has
on
to
there.
be sewer, cause it's been there too long. If we could,
Need to get somebody up on the roof and look at that roof vent and see what's
Right.
going on. My guys have been on the inside, but not been on top of the roof vent. It's the drain, that's what it is, and that
Well,
kitchen
it's
in there.
horrible.
Oh, it stinks, yeah.
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 So,
Keeps people from hanging out though, too, so it works
Yeah.
out.
Board meetings are very short.
That's right.
But if we could start looking at maybe getting that double entry in there, just for the protection of that staff in the.
Yeah, I got a few contractors I can contact, kind of see where we're at. see
Because
what
I think
costs.
that main entry needs some work in a couple of areas, but.
Those doors cannot be locked though, can they?
Yeah, but we used to
Into
keep them
central
locked.
office?
When Fort Logan was there, we kept them locked with a button, you know, we did it.
Good, just.
You just
based
had to
in-
stay outside before you got let in, so we could go back and do that too.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, we could, I mean, that's actually just still there, I mean, that's still,
well,
it's
I
just
think
kinda
if
inconvenient for, you know.
we could start doing some discussions on some of
Yeah.
those things. Facilities is my big thing. I just, you know, I want our facilities to look appealing and attractive and safe and, oh, you know how I am. So, anyway,
So do I.
Sorry we got off track, but we'll come back.
That's fine.
Thanks, Christine. Thanks, Darren. Okay, let's go on down to, a foreign language position. And Bruce, are you gonna talk about that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm asking the board to create a foreign language teaching position at the high school. And when I was named, I was contacted by several different folks of trying to get this position back in for those students that are working on the college diploma, so that they do not have to attend summer school to get those credits. So I'm asking the board to create this. Now, the site-based council has control over what courses to offer. And when you look in their red book, they're offering Spanish 1 and 2, and how they build their schedules. Now, if they chose not to offer this, then of course, this position would not be utilized. They would have to have this in their schedule. Because I'm just like Mr. Davis alluded to earlier, that, you know, they Ms. Griffin's already rolled over into the next school year, so they're going to be starting scheduling, and so I'm asking the board to create this position if the school chooses to get that back into the course offering, so that the students do not have to attend summer school.
Can we survey the students and see how many students want us to do this?
They always do. Students do course requests every year, and that's basically how you build a master schedule. You take what the students ask for, and then you place them in your schedule.
So they want in-person, they've requested?
They haven't done that yet this year.
I see
But you
this.
would have to know if we're gonna offer it before you could even put it on the course request.
Because all of the students that I talk to like to do it over the summer. I talked to a student today who did their fall freshman college, and because of taking foreign language over the summer and the other courses and the dual credit courses that were freed up because they took their Spanish over the summer and their AP classes, that when they go back for the winter semester, they're gonna be a sophomore in college. And I just really wondered, you know, if you're on the college and pathway, that takes dual credit and two dual credit classes or AP classes away from you to do Spanish. And I just, you know, I'd like to know how many students would even be interested in this. Because all the ones that I've talked to like it is. For the dual credit. And AP classes.
Mr. Dobby, do you remember how many kids come in the summer for that? So
I don't know off
last
the top of my
summer-
head, but not all of them take it in the summer, some of them take it during the school year also, in the library. We have several that have done that over the years, so they're not forced to go to summer school.
Well, they just come in once or twice is all it's all done online.
Yes,
They have to go into the school.
yes,
It's just
Yeah.
twice, three.
yes, so we've never forced kids to go to summer school. I mean, if it doesn't work in their schedule, sometimes they have to, but it's never, we have kids throughout the year that take it online in the library.
When will you be doing that survey with your students about their?
They usually start around February-ish, right?
March.
February, March.
It's March.
Doing the, course request.
It's not a survey, they just do course requests
course
for their
requests.
scheduling for next year. And we start with seniors, and then we go to juniors and sophomores and on down the line, so.
So if the board approved this position, then you would have it on your list of a possible class for them to take, correct?
It is on the list as a class to take
Oh,
right
it's
now.
already.
Mhm.
But if they knew there was an would it make a difference if they knew as an instructor, an actual person teaching?
If you can find one, that was the reason that we went away from it, is you can't find one.
I think we have some folks interested in the position.
I think they're, depending on the kid, it might make a difference. You know, there are some kids who don't wanna come to summer school, there are some kids who don't do well online, it's just a kid by kid basis. Now, my daughter, she was a dual credit kid, and she graduated probably with 40-some hours already of college. Could she have done it? Absolutely. My son never would have. So I think it's just a kid by kid basis. But she would be one of those dual credit kids who would have done it and been fine.
It'd be great if we could have both options. You're right on that.
But I just feel like, you know, there's been a lot of folks contacted me, wanting back, like in person, just like other classes, so, I mean, it's the board's pleasure, but if they choose not to utilize it, then of course, you know, it wouldn't be that, it would have to continue as is, but that's my recommendation to the board, is that you create that teaching position, and if the school chooses to do it, then it would go back.
It's an option
Yes.
for them. Well, I do think it's kind of a given that you learn a foreign language by interaction with a real person, probably more so than listening to them. I did well to get through Latin in high school, so I don't know. I still don't remember anything about.
He's down here speaking Spanish.
Well, he's going to be the new instructor.
Interact with children.
This is Spanish. This is foreign language, this is Spanish?
That's currently the two classes they have, yes.
They already have it listed up there.
You do it on iPhone.
Okay, we'll go on. Okay, action item 6A, a contract for Director of Special Education, Mr. Bruce Smith.
Yes, due to the resignation of our Director of Special Education, I'm requesting that I will be appointing a person as the interim. The position has been posted, but also asking that you approve this independent service contract with that person, so that we would be able to possibly keep her on to work when we name an individual. Okay?
Has this position been posted or going to be?
It's posted right now. It's been posted for, what, about 4 or 5 days, something like that.
Okay.
We already have some applicants, so.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the independent service contract for an interim director of special education?
I make a motion.
Okay, Christine? Okay, Marvin? Vote, Gloria?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Marvin? Christine?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, call in or any public comments? Okay. We'll go down to 7. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Christine, Marvin, vote, Gloria?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Marvin? Christine? And yes for me. Thank you all for coming. Did it just pop on? Okay. Well, I did earlier.